Too right.
Oh, this stand is dying.
Oh no. Do you have like a floor stand or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on one sec here. Just let me see if I can. Come on. There. I think that's
All
better.
right. Much better.
Right,
yeah, I got
right.
one of those like I used to have like a desktop boom thing that just had like a weighted base and but now I recently got an arm that like is clamped to the side of my desk.
Yeah. See,
And
my
that's
desk isn't. It's from IKEA and it's got smooth sides on it, so there's nothing to clamp to.
Mine does too, actually. Mine has smooth
Really?
sides. Yeah. It has like there's a I guess there's
There's
an
no lip
outcropping.
though.
There's a
There's no
lip
lip.
on mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no lip on mine.
Okay.
So there's like
So that's different.
the clamp would need to. Well, there is nowhere for it to clamp. There's just no chance of it.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Nowhere for it to clamp.
so that's the name of my first album.
There you go. All right, let's do this thing. Right?
This is going to be a shit show.
It's gonna be a fun show.
That's what I said.
Yeah. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome to episode 507 of the Blair One podcast for Tuesday, July 26th, 2016. I'm your host, Chris Johnson. With me, as always, fresh from a round of Pokemon Go hunting, Mr. Greg Seward. Hello.
Hello.
No?
I am not fresh from a round of Pokemon Go hunting, although we
No?
do have it here now.
You do. Yeah.
Like officially. I mean, everybody had it already, but I found out that there's a Pokestop like right across the. I live right on the coast, and there's a little outcropping called Dead Man's Island right behind my house, and there's a Pokestop right there.
Nice.
And there's a gym right down the street, and there's another gym right up the street, like within like 1 or 2 minutes walking distance.
So did you find this information out from others, or did you
No,
actually
I actually downloaded and installed Pokemon Go. I caught 2 Pokemon, and then I didn't play it again.
Right. Nice.
But my kids are interested, so it might be something we do. You know, if we go for a walk or something, and we can just catch some Pokemon. But
yeah. You know, I've heard a lot of stories over the last week or two about people doing that. Just like it's an excuse to go out for a walk with the kids and have a little fun Pokemon and getting some fresh air. And today, actually, I went to the park with Charlotte, and they had a Pokestop at the park.
Nice.
As many parks do have those. And someone had dropped a lure at the park as well. So it wasn't very busy because it was a Sunday morning, but there were probably about a dozen people walking around with their phones, like in their outstretched hands like this. And then like, the pose.
Yep.
Walking that way. And you don't generally see that unless somebody is like either lost in a city, like using Google Maps, or playing Pokemon Go, catching Pokemon. And I was doing the same thing, and it was pretty great. I got a Jigglypuff, I got an Eevee, I got a Weedle, Nidoran. I got a bunch of Pokemon in just the half hour, 45 minutes that we were at the park before Charlotte was. Because it was like 90 degrees even at like 11 a.m.
Good
so
Lord.
She got too hot and wanted to go home. Otherwise, I would have stayed there.
Like, no, I'm catching Pokemon.
Daddy's busy.
You ruin everything.
Catching Pokemon. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun. I'm now finally level 5, so I can do stuff at the gyms, which I was not able to do before.
Cool.
So,
I don't know. I honestly don't know anything about it outside of I've caught a couple Pokemon.
Yeah. I don't know anything like what do I do at the gyms? What's the combat like?
No.
I know none of that yet.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll be finding out about that in the next week or so. So it's just a two-man show this week.
Yeah, it was like a throwback to episode 0.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bully.
Let's do it.
And the launch of the Wii.
The launch of the Wii. That's still one of my favorite episodes, and I think I mentioned this on episode 500. Is the one where we talk about the launches, and I actually like went around recording people.
Yeah, I remember that
at the PS3 and Wii launch. That's still one of my favorite ones to go back to.
And all the people that were buying them just to flip them.
Exactly.
Like almost to a person. The people you talked to were buying them so they could flip them.
Yeah. No, this is the only reason. Yeah, I hear you can get like $1,000 on eBay for this.
That was brutal.
So, that was. So let's do some news. What do you think about that?
All right. There was news this week.
There was some news. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. You hear about this since we're talking about Pokemon already, that Detective Pikachu is becoming a movie from Legendary Pictures.
I may have heard something about that.
I like the headline at Variety. It says Pokemon live action movie a go at Legendary. Nice.
That should scrape all the Pokemon Go searches.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's going to be based, I guess, on Detective Pikachu. So I guess that means we're going to get that game in the US. And maybe the whole Danny DeVito push on Twitter, maybe that'll actually come true.
And what he plays Pikachu?
No, well, in the Detective Pikachu game, I don't know if you had been following this. Probably not.
I have not. No.
Was released in Japan, and Pikachu could speak in it. He had a voice instead of just Pika Pika Pikachu. He actually spoke English or Japanese, as it were. And so in the game, they have like I guess it's like a gruff sort of voice. So people on Twitter started, saying, "Oh, wouldn't it be hilarious if Danny DeVito,
good lord,
played Pikachu in the Detective Pikachu game?" And now they're doing a movie in the US, or Legendary Pictures is doing it. So why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you're thrilled. I actually just this past week we watched Look Who's Talking Now, which, by the way, is a terrible
What in the world is
film.
wrong with you, man?
Terrible. I don't know.
What is it with you and Ethan watching crappy movies? Did you make your daughter watch this?
So apparently,
yes, you did. Okay,
let me explain. So apparently, my wife, when she was growing up, watched this movie and she thought it was great. So she's like, "Oh, let's have my daughter watch the trailer," and my daughter really liked the trailer to the movie and really wanted to watch the movie, so we rented it. And Danny DeVito is one of the voices of the animals in that movie. So it all comes back around.
No, not at all.
That movie's terrible, though. Like,
no way, really?
It's the worst. It is absolutely the worst. I the first Look Who's Talking is an okay movie. It's good for some laughs.
Oh, sure, yeah, that was a well-loved movie.
Throwback 80s sort of way, just like Mannequin is well-loved. Mannequin, a great film of the 80s.
Let's not go overboard.
Well, I like that movie. But Look Who's Talking Now is clearly a cash-in. You can tell they're just phoning it in, and it's terrible.
Well, Look Who's Talking 2 was as well, right? Isn't that where they added Roseanne Barr?
Yes, you're right. Good times. Good times. All right. Also in the news, you see this Sonic 25th anniversary celebration thing? Yeah, you watched that on it.
I did watch it. I did watch it, and I got to say, I felt really sorry for them because somebody should have hired a good sound person. Like it was such a shame that they, not that it was the most amazing event ever. It seemed very, it was kind of amateurish, really.
Okay.
But it was like basically a party that they threw at Comic-Con or around Comic-Con. I guess just at a bar. and that was where they were announcing a couple new Sega or new Sonic products. And it seems like the whole thing was run by the social media team, or at least it was hosted by the social media team. But anyway, it started like an hour late. First of all, and I think it was because they were having trouble getting everybody in, and they didn't want to. And one of their big announcements was right up at the beginning of the show, so they didn't want to do that while there were still people trying to get into the place, apparently. But it's like for the people that they were the people watching the stream, like the stream went live when it was supposed to, but it was just this I forget the name of the group. They were these two DJs basically, and it was just those two up on the stage with a dude in a Sonic costume for an hour. And like it looked like all they were doing was like every now and then one of them would step forward and mess with the volume button, and the other one would step forward, and it looked like all he was doing was making sure the MacBook didn't go to sleep. They weren't doing anything. They were just jumping around, and the dude, whoever was in the Sonic costume, actually couldn't walk in it because they had their feet planted the whole time, and any time that Sonic had to move, someone had to come out and hold his hand. But anyway, the biggest problem about it was it was kind of sort of the sort of amateur feel of it wasn't so terrible. It was kind of charming in a way. They had so many sound issues, and like they would for the first like when they finally came out on stage and started talking about things, for the first like 15 to 20 minutes, they had this really high pitched whistle over everything. And then every now and then you could tell that they were trying to fix it, and like the mics would go dead. And then they come back on, but they come back on an extremely high volume. So everybody was clipping. And the funny thing was like, this was late at night, and I'm sitting here. I was actually playing Phantasy Star 2 of all things. I was grinding in Phantasy Star 2. And I had this running with the sound on, but it was across the room. And every time the sound would go out and then come back on, it would just blast. And my kids were asleep. And I was like, so I'd have to jump up and run across the room and turn the sound down. And anyway, they finally did figure it out. But one of the times the mics went dead was when they first showed the Sonic Mania trailer, just before like he was announcing it, and for like a 4 minute period, it was just complete silence while he was talking.
Oh no.
So it's like, and he's announcing this game, like this is the big announcement. So, and then of course when the trailer actually came on, apparently they didn't show it to the live crowd at the same time they showed it on the stream, and they didn't turn the guy's mic off. So he was still talking over the trailer.
Oh no.
And then they stopped everything, and then they showed the trailer again properly. It was, and the whole night was like that. So, yeah. But, and then the best thing was they had Jun Sunoe, I think is how you say his name, who's done, I think, pretty much all the major Sonic games, the music for all the major Sonic games since Sonic 3. Had him out there, and it was pretty cool because he was, he's a guitarist. He was doing all his thing, and but then they had the singer from, I think, Crush 40, who Johnny Giueli or something like that. Anyway, he came out and he was singing the whole time, but he wasn't doing a very good job, and there were two iPads on mounts up on the stage, and he kept leaning over to read the lyrics.
Oh no.
But they were on for like a good hour. Like they showed Sonic Mania, and then they were on for like an hour with this stuff, and then they did a few more things, and then they showed sort of their other trailers. So, but the three games that they were showing that were really interesting was, of course, well, actually they showed four: the Sonic running Endless Runner, which I don't really care about, but they showed Sonic Mania, which looks amazing.
It really does, and it's Christian Whitehead who did the a lot of the remastering of the games on mobile, and I think those also came out on console as well.
They did. Sonic CD did the Sonic CD remaster that came out on consoles on PS3 and 360.
Yeah, and then Pagoda West, who I forget what game they did, but it's very Sonic-like.
Oh, really?
On mobile, yeah. So they're a really good team.
Yeah.
So that combination right there is good. Yep. And the game itself looks pretty.
Oh, it looks so good.
It's a mashup, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it takes some things from Sonic 1, some things from Sonic 2, and the others, and kind of mashes it all together. I saw one stage, one of the playthroughs on the Game Explain YouTube site had the Green Hill Zone, and it was a mashup of Sonic 1 and 2.
Which they showed pretty early because you had the corkscrew ramps that were in Sonic 2. Yeah. Yep. But I love because it's all pixel art. So you don't get that, which, you know, I've said for years, like you don't get that sort of weird, I don't know if it's because you can skip frames with pixel animation and it doesn't look weird, but like you don't get sort of that weird, almost too smooth animation look that you get when you take all those old 2D pixel art games and put them in 3D polygon.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You don't get that awkwardness. So it's nice. I mean, it looked fantastic. And then, of course, they showed Studiopolis, which, if you've been paying attention all week, there were a bunch of Sega references, like other Sega references in the Studiopolis.
Like the car
footage.
Having the Hornet on it.
The Hornet high-class van, which was right from Daytona. And then there's everyone saw this logo, which when I was watching the video, I called it right away because I recognized it. Where it's called, it was something called Pink Bot, this logo in Studiopolis, which is an exact replica of the Pine Pot logo from the first stage of Streets of Rage, like just a bunch of little stuff like that. And there's like there's a bunch of cool references. Go look them up. There's like, you know, there's a bunch of videos hitting now, and I think people haven't actually even gone through it like frame by frame yet to find everything, but you know, like some nods to the Game Gear and things like that. So it's definitely going to be a labor of love. I read somebody, I think it might have been somebody on our forum, who kind of referred to it as almost like a really high budget ROM hack, which I think might be reducing it, being a little bit too reductive about it. But at the same time, I think it's kind of it might be a fair way to describe it in a positive way. Like, as long as you mean it in a positive way, it just looks like it's going to be this huge love letter to old school Sonic fans, you know, like pre Sonic Adventure fans. So I can't wait, personally. It's coming out in spring 2017. The only thing I was disappointed with is that they had playable demos at the show. I was really hoping they would push that playable demo out to different services, but you know, oh well, we didn't get that, and that's cool.
No, we didn't.
But yeah, it still looks fantastic.
Well, and then they also announced another 3D Sonic, right? Also for late 2017 from the same team that brought you Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations, the good Sonic, the good recent Sonics.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they said it wasn't a sequel. They were because it was apparently something that they announced before, like Sonic 2017 or whatever they call Project 2017 or something like that, which was apparently not Sonic Mania. But when the head of Sonic team came out, whose name escapes me right now, he said this is not a sequel, but then everything in the video pointed to it being a sequel to Sonic Generations.
Exactly, including the old school and new school Sonics.
Yeah, both being in the same trailer. Yeah. So, you know, but I mean, there wasn't much to see from that trailer. I mean, I actually didn't really like the way it started out, because it's very dark and sinister, and you know, gigantic Eggman robots crushing cities and things like that. But you know, like, it's a year out. They're not really saying too much about it, and it's from the team that did Colors and from the team that did Generations, which, like you said, are the two good Sonic games in previous years, outside of, like, you know, the All-Star Racing games. Those are the best Sonic games in the past X number of years. So so that makes me excited for it, but I would like to see a lot more. There was really nothing you could glean from that trailer.
Sure.
And then they also showed a lengthy trailer of Sonic in Lego Dimensions, which is kind of cool. Sure. I liked it anyway. And it showed that when you get the Lego Dimensions pack, it's going to have Sonic along with his car from All Stars Racing, and Tails' biplane are the three kits.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a long time to sit through all the technical difficulties, and kind of like, you know, like the music segment was about 30 minutes longer than it should have been.
Sure.
But, you know, it was cool to have some sort of very positive Sonic news.
It was also like a party for people who were in San Diego for Comic-Con.
Exactly. Yeah, and it very much was a live event thing more than a streaming thing. I also thought it was kind of cute that at one point they ran this timeline montage where they showed all the different iterations of Sonic, all the logos, and what year they came out, and like little descriptions. So it's like they went through, like, you know, they'd say, like, they showed Sonic, and the first Sonic the Hedgehog logo in a description, like he had to beat Dr. Robotnik, he had to beat Dr. Robotnik, blah 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 blah. They get to Sonic 2006, and it literally just said loading as the description, and then they moved on to the next one. So it's kind of funny.
That's nice.
Anyway, it was it was fun to have on the background. I would have been kind of ticked if I'd been sitting there watching it and doing nothing else, but
sure.
But got some good information out of it. Can't wait for Sonic Mania. Can't wait for Sonic and Lego Dimensions.
Yeah,
two apparently like two games that I'm very feel very positive about for 2017. So
that's good.
So that's great.
Although this is the start of another Sonic cycle, right? I mean,
well, exactly. I mean, if things go the way have been, that means 2018, 19, and 20 are going to be dark years.
That's right. That's right.
But we might get this. And if they eventually announce another All Stars Racing, and they keep that quality up, then
that'd
awesome.
Be cool. Yeah. Well, speaking of sequels, we also got another trailer last week for Pac-Man Championship Edition 2,
which you're all about.
I am all about that. The first game, I was so into that. Like I really,
it was a good game.
Oh, so good. So I'm hoping that this one is good too. It looks good. I don't know. It's hard to recapture that magic though, right? Because part of the fun of that game was learning the patterns, and I wasn't married back then, and I could stay up and play.
I don't know, from the amount of time you've poured into Overwatch, it feels like being married and having a kid isn't really affecting you all that much.
That could be true.
So I've been told.
I put I think close to 50 hours in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you have.
Yeah, although I didn't play it this week really at all. I played a little.
I figured you're just playing Headlander all week, so
I did that too.
But yeah, no, you're right. Because I mean, like the greatest thing about Pac-Man Championship Edition, along with once you got into it and learning all the patterns and thing, was just seeing sort of how brilliantly they had reworked this concept that is like a sacred. You didn't want to mess with Pac-Man because for years they had done that and it never really worked. Right? Yep. Not this in particular, but just like you didn't want to mess too much with Pac-Man because Pac-Man in and of itself was pretty great. Miss Pac-Man made everything just a little bit better, but yeah, the way they reworked it for Championship Edition was brilliant. I mean, I wasn't sold on that game until you told me how great it was, and then I picked it up and fell in love with it too. Yep.
And this one looks great, and I'll definitely pick it up. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So Nintendo is doing an update, a software update to Animal Crossing New Leaf for the 3DS to add amiibo support. So that's all of those Animal Crossing amiibos that people bought, like I bought, but didn't have the Animal Crossing, the Wii U board game thing, Amiibo Festival. You'll now be able to use them with the game, and I guess
that's cool.
You could use them with Happy Home Designer that came out in 2015 as well, but this time they're adding that support to the full game, and you can even use amiibos from non-Animal Crossing franchises and sort of have like a Mario Maker type thing, I guess, where it gives you items.
Oh, cool.
Characters. So that's cool.
It's nice that they're doing that because it's not like that game's new.
No, not at all. But I hope they're not just adding that stuff and they actually go back and do some more content along with it, apart from the amiibo stuff. But we'll see. And then there's also the mobile game that they announced, right? That they're doing some kind of phone game with Animal Crossing. So there's always the possibility that the update is related to that a little bit. You need to go get that.
I do. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Go for it. I'll just entertain the crowd on the stream by myself. Oh, geez. Let's see. I'm going to load up load up Twitter here. What do we have on Twitter? See, the problem is we want to actually do some of these questions later during tweets. So I can't just read them. Otherwise, I would. See, we probably should have gotten a third person for exactly this type of thing. It happens. It happens. You watch me, watch me drink my Coke Zero on live stream. Your Patreon dollars at work, people, right here. Coca-Cola. We really should have a one of those YouTube chat things while we're doing the show. So if this type of thing happens in the future, we wouldn't be left with dead silence. Yeah. Then I could read off some Pokemon Go tips. You guys have Pokemon Go tips? Tweet them to @P1 Podcast, and I'll read them right now, or something like that. When's Greg getting back? I miss Greg Ford. Clearly, just gonna say that. Still waiting for tips on Pokemon Go @P1 Podcast on the Twitter. Go ahead. This is a thrilling live stream. Clearly, what is it? I could maybe bring up something here. We could watch some YouTube videos, right? Can we do that on this? I could always play that Sonic Generations thing on here. Let's see. Maybe I can't. Probably can't do that without restarting. All right. Oh, Greg, you have left me out here to die alone. That's right. All right. Whew. Finally, somebody has tweeted in. I can read this. This will be good. Hacker alias Intersect says, list some 2016 games you've enjoyed thus far. I've enjoyed Overwatch quite a lot, and that might be my favorite game not made by Adult Swim Games this year so far. That's probably my game of the year. And part of why I enjoy that so much is that there are a group of listeners and their friends also online, and getting in a full room with six people has just been really fun. And I went back and played Splatoon this week because the last Splatfest happened, and remembered how much I loved that game as well, and how much I love Overwatch also. And that the games are fairly similar. Of course, you don't have voice chat in Splatoon, which actually I kind of prefer. Sometimes I'll play Overwatch in the non-competitive mode just for fun, without my headset on. I usually will have my headset on, but my microphone muted. And the reason I have the headset plugged in is because, other people with microphones like to swear a lot. And if I'm playing in the family room with my daughter there at the same time, then I don't want her to hear somebody playing Overwatch swearing at me for not doing whatever, because that happens a lot too. Let's see. So yeah, Overwatch still one of my favorite games. I've been playing Hyrule Warriors Legends on the 3DS. I'm just gonna go into what you've been playing since you guys are watching this. And And that game, I loved Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, and Legends. Initially, I thought, oh, this is just the same game on 3DS, and it is. But they've added a bunch of stuff. Oh my God, Greg's back. Whew, our long podcasting nightmare is over. Hello, and welcome back. You missed out.
CJ's one-man show
of me
filling time,
the microphone, killing time, staring blankly at the camera. But that's okay. Where were we anyway? I don't even remember.
We were talking about Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. Yes.
I was done talking about Animal Crossing, but
I'm done talking about Animal Crossing too.
Okay, cool.
We're done with that.
Done. So done.
Yeah. Did you hear that Microsoft is offering Xbox Ones for $249?
I did not know that.
Sort of a fire sale on the previous model.
They got to get rid of the old models.
Got to get rid of the old models. So they have like Xbox Ones with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, and I guess it's one of those pick your own bundles, make your own bundles. You can pick like one of 4 games, and GameStop has like a controller with that and a $30 gift card. So they're like giving these things away.
It's time to buy an Xbox One.
Time to buy.
If Bill's ever going to buy one, he should buy one now, because I mean that's a pretty good deal.
Well, my question is, okay, so you take the old hardware and you get rid of it on such a sort of fire sale strategy, as they seem to be doing. How then do you expect people to turn, or basically the next month, turn around and sell them an Xbox One S for a higher price? Even though, yes, okay, it takes advantage of 4K and it's a UHD Blu-ray player, but
I think you just answered your own question.
How do you do that? Can you do that? Can
you do exactly that? I mean, that's what you do.
You think you can go from charging $249, giving away a game and a controller and a $30 gift card, to charging people $400 for the S?
I think you can, because how do I put this? I think you can because they've positioned it as a different piece of hardware. Like it's not the same as if you what am I trying to say? It's not the same as if you just had a different hardware iteration with the same casing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my mind, anyway, it's not the same as that, because you can call this new hardware, even though it's technically not. It's just an iteration of the Xbox One. The fact that it's smaller, I mean, you can position it as different hardware.
Well, I think what the difference to me is that the Xbox One has been discounted for several months now. It's been under $300, or you could find one for under $300. I think Kevin Larrabee was saying that he bought a new one for like $229. Like a month or two ago, and to me that sort of fire sale, and then here's a new hardware iteration. Like there's.
Well, I think it's the only logical way to go about what they appear to be doing, which is getting into the whole cycle of iterative hardware, right?
They are, yeah, but by deeply discounting the existing one, I'm just not sure, because I feel anyway, like once you start devaluing your own hardware and just saying like, oh, we're going to sell it for this price, like making it sort of a moving target, then you have conditioned people to thinking you're going to offer bundles, you're going to offer discounts all the time now. It's never going to get to the place where you can have the Xbox One S be a specific price for a long time, because you've already shown people that you're willing to deeply discount if this thing doesn't work. Right?
I don't totally agree with that. No.
Okay.
Because again, like I say, I think it has everything to do with the fact that they're positioning the Xbox One S as the new improved product. It's not an Xbox One. It's the new
That's
console.
True. But then this is not the only new console that they're coming out with. Obviously, they have the Scorpio out there sort of looming in the future, right?
Well, we've discussed this before. I think that it's crazy for them to be doing that within a year of release, especially if they are doing what I'm saying they're doing, which is, because the one thing that I would be concerned with is kind of what you just said. It's like, okay, but now we know that in a year there's going to be new hardware.
Yeah.
So does that mean the price of the 1S is going to go way down? In which case, I'll be honest, if they do it that way, great, because then I'll actually take advantage of that. I will get an S.
Yeah.
If they discount it crazily like they're doing with this one right now. But I think sort of in the vacuum of this year, I think they're okay. I think what they're doing is fine, because it's not the same thing as say when Sega or Nintendo back in like the 16-bit days, when they came out with the revised Genesis, the revised Super Nintendo. It's not the same thing as when Sony came out with the PS2 Slim.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Because those were the same hardware, and the whole reason for their being was because they were cheaper to make. Mm-hmm. They were smaller, they were cheaper to make. The cost had gone down. That doesn't seem to be how Microsoft is positioning the S. Kind of the same way I would say Apple positions a new iPhone. It's still an iPhone, but now this is the new one.
That's true.
Like, this is the improved one. It's not that it's cheaper; it's improved. It's better.
Yeah. And I guess this is going to be the first test of whether iterative hardware actually works.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like I said, we've talked about that a whole lot on this show, and I'm personally not sold on it. But what they're doing here makes perfect sense in that strategy, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It happens.
We'll see in like 6 months. Yeah. And I mean, the NPDs came out recently, and I think there were other news stories as well that said Microsoft's hardware business is down something like 9%.
Ouch.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, maybe this will be exactly what they need coming into the fall when you have a lot of great software titles coming out. It seems like usually you do a discount when you also have a great exclusive release to tie it to. Right now they don't, but the Xbox One S obviously will.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all turned around from what we'd normally see in a console.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and you're right. I mean, they need a shot in the arm. They do. They're not like Sony. Sony needs the PS4 to be successful.
Yeah,
because I think, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think their game division is their best performing division right now.
I think I've read that as well. Yeah.
But Microsoft, on the other hand, the Xbox, games division isn't necessarily their bread and butter. Yeah. So, well, we know it's not. I mean, it's stupid to say that.
Well, jumping over onto the PlayStation side, I don't know if you saw this news. The Play 2016 titles have been announced.
Oh, cool. I was not paying attention.
It includes Headlander. Spoiler warning.
That would be why you were paying attention.
That is why. Yes. So Headlander comes out on the 26th, which is the day this podcast goes live. Followed by Abzu, which is from the team that made Journey.
Very cool.
On the 2nd of August. Then you have Brutal on the 9th of August, which I guess it looks like a top-down shooter-ish.
Yes.
It looks interesting. For sure. And then on the 16th of August, we have Bound from one of the Sony first-party studios.
I am very interested in all of these.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bound is by Plastic, which created Linger in Shadows and Datura. Anyway, I don't know. I remember Linger in Shadows. I never played it. I do remember hearing about it though.
Yeah.
But I would buy all of those because you get a discount, right? If
you pre-order, you get 20% off if you have a PlayStation Plus account, which people should do that because it's a great deal. And then you get a coupon for 20% off an entire cart purchase at the PlayStation Store for later. So,
wow, that's awesome because these games are really, if you have Plus, they're really cheap.
Yeah,
the pre-order price for Headlander is $16.
That's right.
And Abzu and Bound
20,
and Brutal's $12. I might have to go pre-order some stuff after this.
I think you should, for sure.
Yeah, you only have to purchase 2 or more to get a 20% off coupon.
That's right. Yeah, the Play promotion's great. Last year was a really good lineup too, with Galaxy and N++.
I was less interested.
Everybody Goes to the Rapture was on there, and I bought that and was not terribly happy with that one. But Galaxy is great, and it also makes you wonder. Like, remember Summer of Arcade? That was like the first.
Yeah, it was great.
Summer promotion that got me really excited about buying games on the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been interesting how that has sort of flipped around. And Sony, with the Play promotion in the last couple of years, has kind of taken over that mantle.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Headlander is coming out on Tuesday. It's a game that I've been producer for at Adult Swim Games, coming out on the PS4. And Greg, I'm sure you can relate to this. You got a major release coming out. You know people are going to be reviewing it. You're doing Twitter searches, web searches on any feedback you can hear, and you're reading the reviews. And it can get to you. I'm a very anxious person around a game release.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like a console release now. Like, we've done a couple of console games before, but this is like our first big major one. So, yeah.
yeah. Reviews are tough. Yeah, it's funny actually, because I was listening to the show last week, and Ethan was talking about this stuff, and he was talking about, I forget the exact story, but it was something along the lines of sitting there with 2 PR people or product managers or something like that.
Oh, right.
One of whom was previously a games journalist.
Yeah.
And saying, like, no bullshit, what would you give this game if you reviewed it? If I'd been that guy, I would have told Ethan to go F himself. No offense to Ethan, but I would never ask somebody that, because you're putting them in a terrible position. It doesn't matter, especially sitting there with one of their colleagues. It doesn't matter what they would give it. They're there to promote the game.
Exactly.
No, it's definitely, I know for me, when I started doing dev, and I mean, you've been through this now a bunch of times as well, but when I started doing development, it was after I'd worked at EGM, and I always tried to be fair, obviously, in my reviews, but you really got to see the sheer amount of work that really does go into these games.
Yeah.
And to get a bad review, whether it's deserved or not, which a lot of times it is.
Sure. Yeah.
It is tough. It is tough.
It's really tough.
It's hard to take, and it's like, I mean, you're in a position of being a producer,
an
external producer,
yeah.
But even so, like, I'm sure if even slightly negative comments, your heart like bleeds for the people that you've worked with.
Oh yeah,
who, just poured their heart and soul into it, because nobody sets out to make a bad game, and it doesn't necessarily reflect. It doesn't mean that everybody on the team is crap or anything like that. Like, there's a million different reasons why a game is good or bad, and
sure.
Yeah, I remember when Invasion came out, I knew it wasn't the greatest game ever, but man, the reviews were just stabbed me right in the heart. And the thing was I wasn't that far removed from working with a lot of people that wrote those reviews. And a lot of them were friends.
Yeah.
Oh man, really?
When you work on a game like that, like, even if you're not directly involved, like I'm not directly involved in Headlander, I'm there, but offset a little bit.
You're an external producer.
Exactly. You're close to it. You're close to the project, and it really is like a talent show where you've got a kid in the talent show, and
absolutely
they're doing their thing, and people in the audience start booing. You're like, oh my god! Like, you have these these feelings, and it's it makes me anxious.
You because throughout that process, you've lived all those victories too, right? Like, there's always the little victories. The way projects work, and they're iterative, and like, here's something that's really wrong. How do we overcome it? And you overcome it. And it's like everyone's excited, and then it's like, okay, but then it doesn't review well. And we're saying all this negativity. That's not saying the Headlander is not going to review well,
right?
We're not saying that. I hope we're not saying that.
I hope we're not saying that. No, I think it'll review well. But Yeah, it's tough. I mean, yeah, when you get the first prototype of something and you're playing it and you're like, oh, this could be better, this could be better, this could be better. Like you have notes, you send them along, and things do get better, and you're like, all right, this is looking good, this is looking good, and then this is the same sort of iterative process, and like you're saying, yeah, things get better, and then you have you push it out into the world and to be judged really
by you got no control over it at that point.
By a marketplace who will either buy it or not, and then by reviewers. And really now it's a lot different than it was, when we were in the press, because, pretty much anyone's a critic on the internet.
Yeah.
Right? You'll have people doing Let's Play videos, and this isn't related to Headlander, but other projects that I've been involved with in the past, you have people stream them, and if they don't know what you know, and they are messing up or like hitting a sticking point, and you're like, oh, if I could just like reach through the screen,
just and be there and help them.
Yep. Exactly. Or they say something that is wrong, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, I mean, that happens a lot too, and it's tough. It is.
It's all about swallowing your pride, because you can't take it personally. I mean, you've got to learn from it. It was interesting because there was a video I watched last night. I had some friends over last night, and one of them had seen this on the US PlayStation blog. Actually, Saito, who's on our boards a lot, who's also monitoring how much time you're wasting on Overwatch.
50 hours.
And also wants you to know that he pre-ordered Headlander.
Oh, good. Yes. You get a sweet theme if you do it.
Yeah. Anyway, he had seen there was a video about the new South Park on PlayStation blog, and at one point it's like a behind the scenes, and at one point Trey Parker is sitting there talking about how he loves that like Let's Plays are a thing now on YouTube, and he was talking about PewDiePie. See, watching PewDiePie play it, and he said like, I was just that he was crazy about it because he's sitting there taking notes, and it's like anytime he criticized something, like he was saying, okay, so they thought this sucked, and they thought this was really cool, and here's where he had problems, and he said like it really actually informed the design of Fractured But Whole.
Yeah.
So, which by the way is looking amazing.
It really does. I pre-ordered that already.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, PS4, because then you get the original game.
Yeah,
on PS4. It's nice. Yeah, and I imagine it's even tougher for them having gone through those games that Acclaim did on the N64.
Oh God, like,
yeah. Seeing a property that you have worked so hard to build be destroyed by a crappy game has also got to be just heart-wrenching, and
yeah.
Because also that the people who worked on that game didn't, as you said before, set out to make
a bad game.
A bad game. No. Sometimes, especially with N64, and we're talking Acclaim, it's a matter of holiday schedules, and you've got on a cartridge you have to have it done by such and such date. And I think Ethan even mentioned that it came out like right before Christmas. It was like down to the wire on something like that. It's not like today where you can issue patches and fix some of the problems that people discover. Like, no, back in the day when you shipped it, it was done. And if people ran into a game-killing crash, then that was the end of that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but again, like you said, even those games, the people who developed those games did not set out to make a bad game.
Yeah,
you work within the restrictions that you have, and you do the best you can.
Sure, and also in producer role, you work closely with the developers who are working on your project, and you get to know them, and it becomes like a family type of thing where it really is like you're making fun of my child at a talent show. So
I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah. Anyway, Headlander comes out this week. I'm very excited about it.
I'm excited to play it.
Excited for people to try it. I think it's an excellent game. 11 out of 10.
What is it rated?
So you mean
ESRB?
ESRB. It's T for teen. It doesn't have no language or anything like that. It's it is based on 1970s science fiction, so there are some sort of phallic imageries in the background and whatnot. But you might notice that, but a younger viewer probably won't.
The reason I'm asking is because I am starting to. This week will be my first week. I've joined the Extra Life stream team.
Oh, right.
And I will be streaming only every. I actually have to say, like, I'm so happy because you're supposed to stream weekly, but I can't do that because of my family situation where I have my kids every second week, and the time that I have, I think, is like starts at 7 or 8 o'clock my time.
Okay,
which is right when I'm putting my kids to bed. So anyway, my point being is that they're letting me stream every second Tuesday, and this Tuesday is my first night, so maybe I'll stream some Headlander.
You should, but hey, if you get stuck, just give me a call.
I will tear this thing apart. I am going into it with the hope of like finding everything wrong with it and ripping it to shreds.
Oh, don't do that, please. No, it's fine. I think people will like it. I've been doing Twitter searches and seeing some people are already like commenting on because the embargo, of course, there's an embargo, expires tomorrow as we record this, and I'm waiting with bated breath to see what people say. And I know, of course, a reviewer, like, it's their opinion, that whole thing. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed.
Live review on Tuesday night, the Extra Life stream channel.
Live review. There you go. All right. Should we be talking about what we have been playing?
Not a whole lot.
I've been playing some stuff.
Okay, let's talk about what you've been playing.
Go to that. So Splatoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
It came out a year and a couple months ago, and this past weekend was the last Splatfest that they had.
I heard that.
Callie versus Marie. I guess they're the two singers. Sisters? The two idol singers that are in the game, yeah. So I picked Team Callie. Of course, we lost, but I played Splatoon for the first time in a little while this weekend, and I love that game. Like, it is so game. Like picking it back up and playing. I was matched with some really good players, which was excellent, and we totally dominated some of the maps. They went back. They picked like 3 maps for the Splatfest, so. It was Walleye Warehouse and Kelp Dome and the skyscraper level. Mm-hmm. And those are like classic levels. Those aren't any like the newer stages that I had not played before. So this was great for me coming back to the game. We just went back to like my old strategies, and I had a blast. That game is so good. And obviously it'll get a sequel on NX, I'm sure. Yes. And I'm already looking forward to that a lot.
Oh, I know you'll be there day one.
I will. And I played some more Super Mario Maker. Booted that up too, since I had the Wii U on. And
I haven't played my Wii U in so long. Oh my god!
And some of those games are just so good. I mean, Splatoon is great. Super Mario Maker is great. Like, they released a lot of great games on that system, and hopefully the NX will go better for them. But I played some Hyrule Warriors Legends. Some of that as well on 3DS, and that game, so it basically is Hyrule Warriors from the Wii U ported over the 3DS, but they did add stuff to the missions, so that you'll be playing a stage and there'll be like a side quest that comes up. Usually it's like an escort mission, like you'll have to escort a character from one side of the map to the other while everything else is going on too. Okay. So you're already sort of being called, like, to go to this side of the map or help this stronghold survive or whatever. Like, a character's halfway through their health on this end of the map, things like that. And then to also add a layer of a side quest on top of that, in addition to like the side things that were already happening in the game, is kind of a unique way to update it, I thought. So
okay.
I've been enjoying it. It's one of those fun little like turn your brain off games, but you still have to do like a lot of mission management where you make sure that you have time to do this side thing, or maybe let it go if you don't. And it's just really fun. I'm like 6 or 7 stages in, and I'm having a fun time with it. And I'm playing on the new 3DS with the 3D turned off, and the performance is quite good. I've heard that it lags a lot on the old one. But
yeah, I remember Ethan saying something about that.
but no problem here. But that's really all I've been playing.
For me, I've just been, like I said, I was grinding in Phantasy Star 2. I'm still playing Phantasy Star 2 for the people who used to watch my. I don't do so much Twitch streaming anymore, but for the people who used to watch that, I've been playing Phantasy Star 2 off and on for about a year now.
So how many hours have you put into the game, and how long does it normally take to finish? Do you know how far along you are in the game?
No. I mean, most people realize that Nye, one of the main characters, dies halfway through the game. I have not gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
So,
but you're just grinding levels.
Yeah. Because that's the way that game works. I mean, it's old school, so you know, you can have a party of up to 4 people, but for however many people you have in the party, any experience points you earn are divided by that number for each person.
Okay.
So, like, if you have 4 in the party, you and 400 experience points, everyone gets 100 experience points. Yeah, and the characters join you partway through your quest, but they all start at level 1 when they join. So you get these super weak characters all the time. I'm just to the point now where I've got everyone in my party, and if you don't have them in your party, like, it's not like probably today you'd see something closer, more akin to something where, like, okay, so if the party is leveling up, everyone who's not in the party might get like a quarter of the experience points or something, just to sort of keep them rolling. Nothing like that happens in Phantasy Star 2.
Oh, so okay.
Very, very hardcore when it comes to that. So I'm still sort of pecking away at it here and there. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, I'm still pecking away at Shenmue 2 for back in my play. Hopefully we'll be recording that episode 2 soon. And otherwise, yeah, trying to get through my season in Formula 1 15 before Formula 1 2016 comes out in a couple weeks. But now Headlander's coming out as well, and
that's right.
There's a lot of games coming out. Like, I'm never going to catch up. So
yeah, because you got No Man's Sky coming out pretty soon. You got all the
I forgot about that.
The PS Play games that are coming out. You got what is it? Hyper Light Drifter is coming out this Tuesday too, which is like, oh, Hyper Light Drifter the same day.
Yeah. One of the things that I have been doing, though, and I didn't get to talk about this last week, is actually I've been playing a bunch of my backlog, which is ridiculously huge. Rather than just doing playthrough videos on my channel, which kept the frequency of uploads high, but no one was really watching them, because who wants to sit and watch 4 hours of grinding in Phantasy Star 2? There are some people who do, but not many.
Sure.
What I've actually started doing is more like game reviews, I guess, but it's kind of along the lines of a segment that I would do in Generation 16, where it's a sort of a review, but it's sort of like a look at the history of the game and that sort of thing. So anyway, I launched my first one of those a couple weeks ago. It was for Metal Gear on the MSX. This does, it has a decent amount of views right now, and I got a fair amount of nice feedback about it. So I'm in the middle of working on my next one of those, which I'm hoping will launch in the next week. But I think I'm going to try to set up another Patreon fund for this as well, if people are interested. So anyway, trying to switch my channel around a little bit to do these sort of one-off game, 5 to 10 minute long game reviews along with the regular Generation 16 episodes. So
sure.
Metal Gear was my first one. Fantasy Star 2 won't be one because I already covered it in Generation 16, but playing some other games as well, some old Super Nintendo games, that sort of thing. Hopefully people will dig it. And maybe I'll do a Headlander review, but probably not.
You should.
No, because you're like a good friend of yours. That's a conflict of interest.
I want to hear what people think of it. Any listeners that play it, please tweet.
I have a weekly platform. I have a weekly platform where I can talk about how I feel about it.
Well,
and I get to say it straight to the face of the producer.
Yeah, exactly. You get to watch me react to your...
Yeah.
Watch.
And I get my mic muted and I get kicked off the call. And...
Exactly. You have to like it. No, you don't. You don't have to like it. But I hope you do.
But you better like it.
You better like it. Yeah, exactly. Since you weren't on the show last week, the NES Mini, the classic.
Yeah, I think you guys are nuts.
What?
I think it'll sell well. I had a friend, actually, Saito, again last night, mentioned it to me that it is sort of sitting in that stocking stuffer range.
Definitely.
I'll be buying one. Sure, exactly. Absolutely.
If you can get your hands on one, which, by the way, the pre-order went up on Toys R Us yesterday, and I tried to get it, and it was sold out before.
Nice. I just don't think I don't think it'll be. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be as massive as you guys are saying it's going to be. That's just me.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's just me. I'll tell you what I did. What I did get irritated about, though, and I'm going to call it Jeremy Parrish on this because he wrote the article. On US Gamer this week, there was an article about Sega firing back.
Oh yeah.
NES Mini. No,
they've been doing this for years, and it's not really Sega; it's @Gamer or whatever.
Yeah, it was so misleading, and it's just not something I would expect from Jeremy because, yeah, like that micro console, that Genesis with the cartridge slot, that emulator with a cartridge slot,
yeah,
like that version of it has been around. You think you were talking about it last year on the show, actually?
Oh yeah, I mean they've done
time before that.
They've done several versions of them. They're
right. All they're doing is updating the games that are in it right now.
That's right. Yeah,
and it's just like it's not an answer to the NES Mini. They've been doing it for years. It's with that exact same casing, and it's never been good. Like, I didn't like the tone of that. But anyway. Yeah, it's not an answer to the NES Mini. The NES Mini is very exciting. The fact that it's coming from Nintendo is huge.
Yep.
The videos that are going out there, people are saying that it's proof that the emulation is much better than you would normally expect.
I'm not sure that I'm not sure that it is.
I'm not sure that that trailer really proves anything because that could be who knows where that footage came from. It didn't necessarily come from the Mini.
Right.
But I hope it is.
Yeah, I hope it is too.
With an easy to connect HDMI.
Yeah,
and those controllers, yes, please. Like that's.
Although the cord is apparently only like 7 feet long, 6-7 feet long, which
I don't really care about that too much, to be honest.
Me neither.
But because what I love is the fact that they can plug into the Wii remotes.
Yes,
and I really hope that as we move forward with the NX, if Virtual Console is still a thing, and please God, I hope it's still a thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully the connectors are the same, because it would be great to if those controllers are even decent. It'll be great to have like an NES controller for those old NES and Game Boy games on Virtual Console.
That would be absolutely amazing. Yeah,
I'm definitely excited. Definitely going to grab one, but yeah, I don't know that it's going to set the world on fire, but we'll see. I could be wrong. With Nintendo, you never know.
You never know. I mean, in July when Tickle Me Elmo is plentiful in the stores, you never know if it's going to be the hot thing that Christmas, right?
Right.
Yep. You never know.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's do some tweets.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Trezor, who says, any less known titles you would love to see on new powerful systems? For me, it would be Street Rod / Stunt Car Racer.
I don't know.
You got to say Speed Devils. Come on.
Speed Devils is not a thing anymore.
It's not. Ugh, so sad about that. that was my Overwatch of the year 2000 or 99 or whenever that thing came out. That was so good. Spent so many hours on that.
You know what I'd love to see? I know it's not a lesser known title. I'd really love to see the Burnout series come back.
Yes.
Like a proper Burnout game.
Yeah.
Not the EA-ified free roaming.
Are you talking about like Burnout 2 or
Burnout
3 or Revenge?
Yeah. I would, you know, I'm sure people would be excited just even to get another Paradise, but I'd love to see that come back. I don't know any lesser known games. I'm sure if I really sat and looked at my collection, I could come up with like a dozen.
Yeah.
That I like.
It's not even a lesser known game. Dead Space. I want that to come back.
I'd love to see a good Dead Space sequel. Yeah. Let's forget that 3 ever happened and go back to 2. Something along the lines of 2.
Yeah, I was listening to there's a great podcast called Kane and Rinse that does sort of like a game club type thing, huh?
Oh yeah, we should do something like that.
Newer titles, so it's kind of like a back in my play thing for newer games, and they did an episode on Dead Space very early on, before the 3rd Dead Space came out. So it was like an untainted opinion on Dead Space, and it was just great to listen to. And you're like, yeah, like I remember why I loved the first game, and the second game was just amazing, and then 3 came
so
out,
good,
and it was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
This series, and maybe I have to go back and play 3. I kind of want to.
Don't waste your time.
Oh, maybe I'll go back and play the first two then.
Yeah,
but like the first one is backwards compatible on Xbox One now.
Nice.
And I have it on digital, so I can just like pop in, or I don't even have to pop it in. I just have to download the game and play it. That could be fun. I might need to revisit that.
It's a great game.
I miss Dead Space a lot. All right, Hacker Alias Cubs Fan 4 says just built an arcade machine. What arcade games should I play?
Oh my god.
What arcade games shouldn't you play?
Yeah, really. Get some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going on there.
Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah, get some X-Men.
Yeah.
Any Sega, you want to get some Outrun if you've got a wheel attached to it.
Yep.
Virtua Fighter, Streets of Rage,
Final Fight.
What about that? What's that
Streets
crazy
Final
Fight? Not Streets of Rage. Street Fighter is what I meant to say.
Street Fighter.
Yeah, Final Fight would be great to have on there as well. Mortal Kombat.
The arcade Mortal Kombats were great.
They were. What was that ridiculous sports game you and Phil always talked about? The track and field style game, but
Newman Athletics.
Newman Athletics. Check that out.
That's a great game. It's a very obscure Namco sort of futuristic track and field game where they have these events like you have to stop a train. You're like a Superman or whatever. You have to basically like press the button when the train gets right to your fists, basically, and then like tap the buttons to slow it down and stop it. It's great. Little events like that are a lot of fun.
Get some shooters going. Get some 1942, 1943.
Raiden.
Oh yeah, Raiden, however you say that.
Yeah.
Space Harrier.
I mean, if you have like a MAME
Galaxy
cabinet,
Force,
you can just put all of these things on there, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. And get some SNK stuff going too. You want to check out all the Metal Slugs, King Fighters,
Super Baseball 2020.
Like we were just Baseball Stars. Too.
Baseball
Stars. I love baseball.
I loved. I don't know if you ever played the SNK. It was a Neo Geo game called Sengoku.
Oh, yeah, I love Sengoku.
Sengoku is great.
Going back, it really isn't that great, but I really enjoyed it a lot.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, at the arcade, like plunking down quarters into that thing. It was fantastic, and I was always jealous of the Neo Geo because it had all these great games, and it was so expensive to get one, and I just had no chance of ever doing that. So, and I don't think Sengoku has come out because a number of the games have come out.
It's not one that's. I think Sengoku 2 has come out on a few of those different collections and on PC, but I don't think Sengoku has come out.
Yeah.
I do remember that was one of the games that I always saw at the local game shop that had Neo Geo that was always on demo. Was Sengoku was one of the Magician Lord because that was kind of the standard Neo Geo game.
Yeah.
NAM 75 saw a lot of, which is another one you don't see very often.
That's true
on these collections.
Blues Journey.
King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of good Neo Geo games. But that. Yeah, and I mean, go do some old school stuff. Get some Miss Pac-Man going. Get some Q*bert and some Paperboy, and good
There's
times.
A lot of stuff.
Good times. I would if I could only afford one arcade game, I would have a hard time having it be anything but Miss Pac-Man. I could sit and play Miss Pac-Man arcade forever.
Oh yeah.
I just love that game. I'm not any good at it, but I loved it.
I was really good at Crystal Castles. Back in the day.
I hated Crystal Castles.
And actually, I wasn't good at it so much as I learned how to do the little warp. Early on, there's like a warp to later stages, and so I could get a high score on the local ice cream shop's leaderboard because of that.
Local ice cream shop. Yeah,
I was like 5 years old or something, and we'd go to this place for ice cream, and they had a bunch of arcade games, including Star Wars and Popeye and Crystal Castles. And one time we were there, and this other player, this older gamer, showed me the warp trick in Crystal Castles, and I thought that was the neatest thing ever.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I love the arcade game Kangaroo. That's my jam.
Right there. I've ever played that.
It's kind of
the more I think about it,
like
the more
Donkey Kong or Popeye or any of those games. Very simple.
more I think about it, the more I think I need to get those Atari collection discs that are coming out soon, I think.
Yeah, I think next month.
Yeah. August is shaping up.
There are a lot of
end of July,
games.
August. Yeah.
This whole holiday season is crazy.
I know.
Really.
And then the thing is, then Forza Horizon 3 is going to come out and I'm going to drop everything.
Yeah.
And play nothing but that.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias. I don't even want to read it because it's all vowels and such. He says the only Zeldas worth playing: Legend of Zelda NES, Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. Thoughts? I would put Link Between Worlds in there definitely.
Yeah. I
might drop Skyward Sword, maybe.
Really? No, I wouldn't drop Skyward Sword. I'd drop Twilight Princess before I drop Skyward Sword.
Twilight Princess. Well, no, I like Twilight.
I know
Princess.
you like it, but do you think it's a better game than Skyward Sword?
Well, if you chopped the first 2 hours and last 2 hours off of Skyward Sword, then probably not.
You know what game you shouldn't overlook? Actually, there's two, because I don't think... Was Link's Awakening in that list?
No.
You should play Link's Awakening. Minish Cap. Do not overlook Minish Cap.
Yeah.
Minish Cap was a really good game. It's a Game Boy Advance game. Excellent Zelda game. But everybody forgets about it. Nobody ever talks about it.
Yeah. All right, let's do this one from Acrelius Beard the movie. I'm taking my 1-year-old to get a surgical procedure done on Tuesday. How do you guys get through scary times with gaming? First of all, good luck on Tuesday.
Yes, good luck with that.
Yeah, with gaming, I usually pick something simple, like a puzzle game, like Tetris or Tetris Attack or something like that, that you can really, that it's probably not going to be frustrating in the way that games sometimes are, right? And get something that makes you feel good about playing it, whether it could be a Kirby game or something that's not, not too difficult that you're going to have fun with. And, try to...
Something that's not going to raise your stress level.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best advice. I've been very lucky in that I haven't had to deal with that situation. So,
yeah,
maybe I've been at the emergency room with my kids a couple times, but it's a little bit different here because, you go to the emergency room a little bit more frequently here, because you don't need to worry about insurance or anything like that. But like that's usually I'll just play whatever's on my phone. I've played a lot of solitaire just because it's relaxing.
Yeah, actually, games like Candy Crush, they have a bad rap because of the free to play thing. But those games, at least like the initial stages that are very easy, are nice time wasters.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, and then Hacker Alias Dakota Otter says, "What games do you find therapeutic? For example, the underwater levels in Mario 64 give me ASMR like tingles."
What the hell is ASMR?
I don't know. But I don't have any games that give me tingles. But I do when I want to, turn off my brain and play something fun. I go to Rock Band.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Because it, playing songs that I already know and can feel good about, and it's kind of like our previous question, just playing games that I'm not going to get frustrated by. I do that.
For me, it's probably Outrun is kind of my go-to game for that, and it's kind of along the same lines, I think, as what you're saying with Mario, with the underwater levels in Mario 64, because the music in the underwater levels in Mario 64 is absolutely beautiful. And like all I can listen to that music and just feel good. I don't even need to be playing it. I just hearing it, it's almost actually like the music in the underwater levels for Donkey Kong Country. It's kind of the same thing. But with Outrun, that's kind of the same thing. It's very much that whole package, especially if you have like the Sega Classics version or 3D Classics or something like that. Any home version that you can turn down the difficulty, and then you're literally just going for a drive, and you've got amazing music that you can listen to, and it's very soothing, and it's because one of the things, it's actually something I watched a video on this week. One of the things about the music in Outrun and a lot of other Sega arcade games is that they're not really short, like 30-second loops. They're like 5-minute tracks.
Yep.
And the music in Outrun in particular is it's just driving along the coastline music. Like it fits that setting so perfectly. And yeah, that's probably for me is my sort of, come down from a stressful day. That's my jam. The video I was talking about, which I would suggest everyone goes and sees, and I'll see if CJ can link it in the show notes. It's actually by a YouTuber called Kim Justice, and she did something on the Sega Sound Team band, and about game development house bands in general, which is apparently a thing in Japan in the late 80s and early 90s. It's a fantastic video. I'll send CJ the link and hopefully we'll put it in the show notes.
Definitely. Let's do it. All right. Let's do this one. Let's wrap it up with this one. From Hacker Alias Thorbon 3, who asks,
Both Thorbon.
When does Headlander come out?
That's a commercial.
The answer, of course, is Tuesday. As you're hearing this podcast in your podcast feed, Headlander is up on the PlayStation Store for PS4 and on Steam. And you can get on Steam, you can get a bundle that includes the soundtrack, which is really great.
Ooh.
That's right. So check that out. And that's our show for this week. What do you think about that?
That was an impressive show. I want to call out again. Remember that I will be one of these streamers on the Extra Life stream team starting this Tuesday, every second Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, and we'll put that link in the show notes.
Second Tuesday in general, yeah,
so that people can check that out.
And I will be getting my act together with my actual Extra Life campaign now that we're heading into the second half of the year. I got to figure out some events here. I'm only at $300 and I'm trying to get up to $5,500. So if you haven't given yet and you want to, extra-life.org/participant/Seward. Go.
There you go. And you're probably coming up on doing your 24-hour stream here pretty soon.
It'll be mid-November.
Yeah?
Mid-November, yeah. We're going to actually doing something really cool here, which I don't know that I can actually announce yet, but we're doing an event. Actually, the Halifax Guild is doing an event on the day of the 24-hour stream.
Cool.
So I'll be doing that with them, and then probably the following week I'll actually be doing my own personal stream.
Awesome.
But if anybody is interested and hasn't given yet, because I'll be selling hours like I do every year, I have not come up with a theme for this year. So if anyone's got any ideas, check out our forums or send a message directly to me through our website or through that participant page I just mentioned at Extra Life. But could use some ideas for sure.
All right. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our email addresses, you'll find our contact information, you'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
It's me.
You'll find a message board where you can discuss this episode with us and other listeners. Oh, I forgot to mention the Generation 16 episodes.
Yes, I have all the footage put together for game number 4 of episode 18, and then I have one game left to go after that.
Awesome. And that's your cue to start with Phil's thing.
I'm not touching Phil's thing. If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by going to Player One Podcast or to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can invest $1.99.
Cheap.
To pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone app. Lets you stream all 500 some odd episodes directly to your iPhone, through your iPhone, straight to your ear holes. And you can also get in touch with us via various forms of social media.
There you go.
Through that app. And you can also get that app for your Android phone on the
Amazon Android Marketplace.
Amazon Android Marketplace, which is also $1.99.
That's right. Also cheap.
There you go. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch us on YouTube every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We broadcast live. This week it's just me and CJ because we're going old school.
That's right. Old school with K.
But it's normally, me, CJ, Phil, and Ethan is our normal lineup. You can check us out on Friendster, on Flickster, on
Line,
LinkedIn. Yeah, all those places. You can listen to us on Stitcher Radio. That is real.
That's true.
And I don't know there's much else there. One thing I would like you to do, though, if you have liked what you've heard, and how could you not? CJ and I are such lovely people.
That's right.
You can, should you choose, support the Player One Podcast by heading over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Player One Podcast will always be free, but it's not free to make. So, you can help us out. You want to send a little money our way through Patreon to helps us keep the website live, helps us buy good equipment like this microphone, for example, keep the quality of the episodes up, and of course, it keeps CJ swimming in Amiibo.
That's right.
So yeah, if you like what you've heard and you feel like supporting us, we would supremely appreciate that. We love all of our patrons. You can do it there. And personal plug, if you check out Generation 16 and you like what you see there, generation-16.com, you can also support that show at patreon.com/generation16.
There you go.
That's it. That's our show. CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting such a wonderful show every week.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for coming on and not ditching.
It's always my pleasure.
Yeah. This was fun. This was good.
Yeah. Hope Ethan and Phil are back next week.
Indeed.
Where we'll have our Headlander Game Club.
That's right. Exactly. You can level all of your criticisms against me, and I will take them personally. No.
Awesome. Tune in for that. You're going to want to see that.
Exactly.
Well, I plan to put together a PowerPoint presentation with animations to show everything that's wrong.
Oh, like, good.
On this screen, yes. this, and this are terrible.
Exactly.
Let's do it again next week.
Sounds good. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.